I'm Nepdiah, and today I'd like to talk about something that I've been meaning to talk about in public forum for a long time, and that's the whole hijab issue. Now, there's an article in the National Post yesterday about two Kuwaiti MPs who refused to wear the hijab in Parliament, and they'd like to abolish all laws in Kuwait that would force women to wear hijab, which I think is awesome. Go for it, sisters, props to you, girl power, all that. I think it would be a huge success for women's rights if these ladies managed to abolish these laws. I think it's a great thing, but that's not really what I want to talk about. I want to present my take on the hijab issue. And, well, basically there are two sides. The first side is it's part of my faith. I leave it on. The second side seems to be you're being oppressed, take it off. And I really did those in the voices of the two sides that I see. But I'm going to talk about how I see it. And my camp is firmly on the fence. I have solid reasons for why I'm on the fence. I'm not just wavering here, but I just end up on the fence. But I'm going to talk about it in basically three parts. A, why the hijab isn't totally stupid. B, the women's and human rights issues. And C, the religious diversity issues. Now, the reason for the hijab. I've been to the desert. I spent 6 weeks in Jordan for my field school. And I spent the entire time covered. I wore long khaki pants. Sometimes I wore flip-flops. Usually I wore shoes and socks. I wore long sleeve cotton shirts. And sometimes I even wore hijab to keep the sun off my head. And I can tell you, it's a lifesaver. I didn't even think about wearing shorts and t-shirts. I'm a redhead. I roast in the sun. And really, in that sun, everybody does. And sunblock does not save you. Besides that, 2,000 to 1,500 years ago, they did not have sunblock. So covering yourself, covering your head to protect you from the sun is a very, very good idea. And that's basically where it comes from. Sun will fry you, cover yourself. Simple, logical. I mean, we even hear it on the news here in Canada today. The UV index is high, cover yourself, wear sunblock. There's really no difference. That's how it started out. And as far as I know, the whole hijab thing is actually not in the Quran. I did read the Quran, but I was 14 at the time. That was 11 years ago. I don't really remember. As far as I know, it's in one of the commentaries. I could look that up, but I'm trying to get this out. I'll probably add it to the notes later. But the whole hijab thing sort of got out of control. And what was something that was originally practical ended up being a human rights issue, where women in Eastern countries are forced to wear hijab, and even some women in Western countries are forced by their family to wear hijab. And it's wrong. If you're being forced to, it is wrong. It is a human rights violation, no question about it. It is wrong. I totally agree with the idea that if you're forced, it's wrong. And it shouldn't be in any law. You shouldn't be forced by your parents, your husband, whatever. If you're forced, it's wrong. That's really simple and clear cut. Now for the part that's a little more complicated for me to explain, and that's the religious diversity part. Now, I myself am not Christian, but I'm living in a nation that was pretty much raised Christian. And I've made a few decisions with my life that sort of make me understand where the women who choose to wear the hijab are coming from. Now, when I found my faith, when I got really serious about it, I told myself that any question I was asked about my faith, I would answer openly and honestly. And I've done that, and it hasn't always been easy. Now, that's nothing compared to wearing the hijab, which is a huge, like, look, I'm Muslim. And that's a huge stigma in today's society, in the Western world. And for the women who choose it, I think they're courageous too. And I think that the women that choose it because it's right for them and it's right for their faith, I think that shows an incredible amount of conviction and courage. And kudos to them. Don't take it off. If it's your decision, keep wearing it. Please. I think we need more people with that kind of strength. With the stigma against Islam today, it's a hard decision. And I applaud any woman who is Muslim and decides to wear the hijab for her own reasons, to show that she's proud of herself and her faith. That takes a lot of strength. And I guess that's also why I find the forcing of it so wrong, is because when you force a woman to wear hijab, it takes away all the spiritual significance. You're being forced to, and it doesn't mean anything anymore. No one forced me to answer every question I was asked about my faith openly and honestly. And that's why it has power for me. And I think that's the choice these women make to wear hijab. I think it has power for them too. And I respect that. I respect the women who take it off when they're being forced, and I respect the women who wear it when they make the choice. And that's basically where I stand. I think the hijab, when worn out of faith and out of personal choice, is a beautiful thing. On the other hand, I think it's an awful tool of repression when it's forced. So there you go. That's my take. Let me know what you think.